Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. APW Sports signing in, and I am reacting to Chicago Bears Hard Knocks episode 4. There are a few things that stood out to me with this episode, with the rosters as of today being cut down to 53, but I'll let you guys see the video. That'll be in the card. I got a lot to talk about with this episode and things that kind of stood out to me, so let's not make this intro any longer. Without further ado, let's dive into it. Now, they did kick off the episode with some of the things that was from the Bears and Bengals game, where we saw the starters play a little bit longer, but I will leave that reaction to that game in the cards above. But they were starting to do some things as evaluating some of the things on the roster. Like I've already previously said in the intro, that we already got the 53-man roster, but it was evaluation, whether it was from Austin Reed, whether it was Eden Wheeler, Colbert, names like that ripping, that they wanted to evaluate with the last week of practice, with the last week of things heading into the preseason and the game against the Kansas City Chiefs. There were a few things that they wanted to do. Now, the evaluation of Ian Wheeler, and I'll get into that also a little bit later in this reaction, that they wanted to evaluate some of the things that, whether it was his hands, whether it was blocking, whether it was him running high, they were really evaluating Ian Wheeler and some of the things that he has gotten better in, even from the last few episodes to now, where we stand now. And I'll get into that a little bit later, but it was a great thing to see him grow with his speed, and he's growing from that running back position from an HBCU. And I'm actually happy about that. As you guys see, black man, happy about that. HBCU guy getting a shot in the NFL. I really love that. And another thing I want to touch on is the new nuances of the game of football, which a lot of us don't think about, a lot of us take for granted. And that is Caleb Williams on a spike. I was interested to see that because that is just a little nuance that can change a game, whether it was intentional grounding. If you do it wrong and it doesn't do it right away, you lose seconds on the clock. As football fans, we kind of take those little things for granted in the course of a football game, and I'm glad that the Bears coaching staff and Eberflus actually picked that up and made sure to go through with that with him, because in the NFL and in football in general, and I just think this is a life lesson in general, that you could take the littlest things can make things go so wrong and so left. And it's always about the little details, whether it's in life, whether it's in sports, whether it's in whatever field that you're doing. I've always, and I can quote my high school coach from this, shout out to Coach Sutton, that all the problems start small. And that is not more true than in that element right there of teaching Caleb Williams the spike and making sure that he's doing it correctly, because if he's not, that can lead to a world of trouble, especially when you're in a clock management situation. You're trying to get that game-winning field goal, you're on the drive to get that game-winning touchdown. That spike can mean so much. But it is just crazy that they detailed that and they're going over them, and I'm actually happy that they show something like that, so you can give a little bit of an example of the little things in life and little things in football. Now, the backup QB is going to Sky Zone or Skyward. I can't remember what that's called off the top of my head, because personally, I've never been there, even though I plan to go at some point. Well, maybe not, because I'm afraid of heights. Hint, hint. But it's just crazy that they all the backup quarterbacks. I was hoping that Caleb went with them too, but took their time, enjoyed the city, enjoyed the life. You know, sometimes you got to step away and get that mental decompress. Whether anything, you got to get mentally decompressed in some situations. And the backup quarterbacks And I think the ones that's under the most pressure, whether it was Austin Reed, whether it was Brett Rippon, Tyson Bagent is basically secured number 2. So that's that. So get that time mentally away. Now, Adrian Colbert, that's a bit of a free spirit. Actually, not a bit. He's a free spirit, which I don't mind that at all. Whatever gets you going, it gets you going. Whatever gets you in that mode to perform at your best, whatever gets you in that mode to be your best self, and it meditation, things that he believes in, I'm not against it. And I think he learned a lot of that from that accident that he was detailing where he got hit by a car going 55 miles per hour when he was 9. I think that's just an attest to his power. That's just an attest to his will and his strength that he was able to, number one, survive 2 weeks in a coma, all the scratches, and I was looking into his eye. It looked like some of the scratches on his face that he may have gotten from that. But I'm glad he was able to pull through that. I'm glad he was able to live out his dream and be on the NFL roster, perform on the NFL field, and it gets no better than that. I think all of us have had different backgrounds of life. All of us have had different things happen to us throughout the course of life, and his is, it sucked that it had to happen, but it's grateful that he was able to survive that. It's grateful that he's able to detail and still enjoy the life, enjoy being on his bike, and just different things of life. I'm glad that he was able to pull through with it. That is dope. And Odunze eating orange slices on the sideline. I mean, it's better than Marshawn Lynch eating Skittles during the middle of a game. So, but him and rookie John Jackson, they both made them do a snack and store run, which is part of that rookie ingratiation period when it comes to the NFL, when it comes to things like that. So that was another cool thing to see. And then Theo Benedict with the big Fruit Oops and got him some Clorox. I think it was a Fruit Loop. No, not Fruit Loops, Fruit but a foot or something that he was trying to get for him, and he got the wrong thing. Maybe it was a Canadian thing. I don't know. But that was actually kind of funny. That was actually kind of funny. And another thing that was kind of funny was Ian Wheeler rapping Chief Keef's Finito. Now, that was funny. That was funny. Is he a new rap star? No, let's just cut the brakes. But that was entertaining. That was absolutely entertaining and watching. And it's crazy how everybody else joins in. And I love the camaraderie of this football team. I really do. Guys are behind each other. Guys are supporting each other. Guys are basically a unit. And that's a shout out to Matt Eberflus and the culture, and Ryan Poles and the culture of the players that he has brought to the Chicago Bears roster. I'm really liking the team camaraderie that this Bears team has and this Bears team is showing. And another thing is Tyson Bagent, they did profile that, I think, last year when he was starting those 4 games when Justin Field was out. And his dad being an arm wrestler, professional arm wrestler, and according to them, he's one of the best in the world at arm wrestling. So that is actually kind of dope that they showed a little bit of things that's kind of a bit outside of football, family things. I think that's absolutely dope. Dad arm wrestling, and it's kind of different. It shows a little bit of a difference of what gets people going, what things people do. You have Adrian Colbert, who's the peaceful meditation type of guy, and then you got Tyson Bagent's dad, who's yelling and screaming and hollering, but yet they both get the job done either way it goes. So that's another thing, and it sucks that Ian Wheeler tore his ACL. It absolutely sucks that he tore his ACL because he had promised to really make this roster. He showed some really good flashes during this preseason, whether it was during the last game against the Kansas City Chiefs, whether it was during the Buffalo Bills game. Ian Wheeler has gotten so much better, and to see his mom break down like that, and it just shows the game of football can be cruel sometimes. We hate it. Injuries do happen, and it's a part of the game, but it's one of those parts of the game that we do not like, and it absolutely sucks. And then especially for him to be a guy that was on a roster bubble. It sucks, man. It got them. I'm not going to say I shedded a tear, but man, that hurt. Watching his mom hug him and watching her shed tears on him, that hurt. That sucked. And another thing, shout out to Ryan Poles for the handling of this injury. Telling him he was more, I think Ryan Poles was more concerned about mentally. Because, yeah, it's a physical thing, an injury, but it's a very big mental thing coming back from something like a torn ACL, and especially for him being a roster bubble guy. And shout out to Ryan Poles and really how he handled this. Is, as a man, if you need anything, need to cry, need to talk, right there for him. And I personally believe that was genuine from Ryan Poles. He gives that vibe and energy of the guy who really cares about the players that he has. Cares about the players that he brought in more as people versus just football players. And I think that is a testament to the Chicago Bears football team. Another dope episode of Hard Knocks. I think next week is the season finale of it. And I will see you guys then. Peace.